Hello, English readers, and welcome to a new live read-along of Lidi's Book Club. I'm Lydie Bureau, and I'm an English teacher in France. I'm also the founder of Lidi's Book Club, in which I host live readings of adaptations of classics of English literature and contemporary novels. Each month, we read and explore a different book for all levels in English. And once a week, I meet the members of the book club in a live workshop via Zoom to discuss the chapters of the book via Zoom, to discuss the chapters of the book that we are currently reading. And this way, the members of the book club can practice their English, their speaking skills, and improve their English this way. In this book club, I also tend to prioritize books that are written by women. This month, we are finishing to read this contemporary novel, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book is aimed at people who have a C1 or advanced level in English. If you would like to know more about Daisy Jones and the Six and its author, Taylor Jenkins Reid, then I invite you to listen to the podcast episode 22, an introduction to Taylor Jenkins Reid and Daisy Jones and the Six. And it's available here on this YouTube channel and on my Spotify podcast called Read in English. Over the last 3 weeks, I have hosted 10 live reading sessions on Instagram so far, and today it is our last session 11. So you will be able to rewatch all these previous live readings on this YouTube channel and also on the Spotify podcast, Read in English. I find it very user-friendly to use Spotify, especially when I'm in a car or when I'm doing something else. It's very handy, very useful, as the app is much more user-friendly than YouTube. Personally, this is my my opinion for having to as a user as well. In addition to these 11 live reading sessions, I'm hosting 3 live workshops. I have been hosting 2 live workshops on Daisy Jones and the Six so far, and we have our last one. So there are 3 live workshops on Daisy Jones and the Six, and this Saturday is going to be the last live workshop based on the book. And if you want to be able to attend those live workshops that are hosted on Zoom, then you have to become a member of the book club and also have access. If you join now, you will have access to the recordings for free, of course. And you can find all the information on the website and everything. I'm also excited to announce that you can now purchase the 3-part live workshop on White Teeth. This is the book that we have studied last month, that we have read and explored as well. It is aimed at level B2 or upper intermediate level in English. So this is an adaptation of the novel White Teeth. And if you want to have an idea of what it's like to be part of Lidi's Book Club and see and get to know more about this novel, know about Zadie Smith and the kind of themes and different reflections that we had about this novel, then you can purchase the 3 live workshops, the recording of those live workshops on my website. You will have to create your login, and thanks to this login, you will have access to a private space on my website. So you will be able to watch the videos whenever you want and at your own pace. Yeah. So that's it for me. Today we are doing our last session 11, and it is our last live reading session on Daisy Jones and the Six. So we are going to read pages 307 up to 351, knowing that the last pages, the last 10-ish pages are we're going to read the songs that the band has written. So this last part is not going to be, the novel itself ends at page 340, yeah, 337 or something like that. Yeah, there isn't sort of epilogue. No, yeah. So that's the plan for today. In this session, we are going to read, there are two chapters, let's say. One is called Chicago Stadium, and then another one called Then and Now. And one last thing before I go. So you have these three chapters that we're going to read in this session. So before I get started with the reading, let me give you a little recap of what happened, as we usually do in the live readings. We read the chapter called Aura World Tour yesterday. And in this chapter, we discover a new character called Opal Cunningham. She is the tour accountant. And during this tour, she is kind of resigned to to realize that they're spending much more than they should, and the band is often leaving the hotel where they're staying in a dreadful place, in a dreadful state, and it's mainly Daisy's room that costs the most in terms of um, of repairing things in the room and paying for the damage that they have caused in the room. And yeah, it seems like Daisy leaves the room in the worst states than the other members of the band. She is, remember, she is married to this guy Nicolo Argento, something like that. Let me, yeah, if my memories, if I'm right, is Italian, and is high on drugs all the time, even more than Daisy. So is much more deep in dope and everything. So I can't find his where was it? Yes, it's a bit tricky to find his name. Yeah, is Nicolo Argento, something like that. Anyway, she called him Nicky as a nickname, and it's probably here. So Nicky. No, they do. Yeah, I can't find the page. Anyway, it's fine. So Nicolo, and and he is yeah, much more addicted to drugs, And Daisy starts realizing that the damages that drugs have on her body. She doesn't even realize that she has cut herself, or that she had bruises. At some point, Eddie make her realize that she has blue hands, and she's completely out of herself, and sorry, and it, she yes, she's just in this foggy state, and drowned in all the substance that she takes, whether it's pills or coke and everything. And at some point, Rod is trying to help her and makes an attempt to tell her maybe to get sober, but she doesn't listen, and she just carries on. In the meantime, Billy and Camilla, they are moving into this new house in Malibu. They're living their best lives, sort of. And Pete, so Eddie's brother, is announcing Eddie's that he wants to get married with Jenny, and that after the tour he will quit the band. And for Eddie, it's quite difficult for him to understand his choice. And this is where he says, so Eddie is talking, he's telling what Pete has told him. He said, I've said that 1,000 times to you. I told you this stuff doesn't matter. And it's true that oftentimes Pete has told, we've read that Eddie was saying, oh, Pete said that this stuff doesn't matter. And here, this sentence take all its meaning. And because we realize that that Pete is in this band simply because there is nothing else for him at the moment. It's sort of a temporary thing for him. So that shows how much distance, and it explains also how distant he is from the band, and also reflects how little we hear from him in the book. He's like in the shadow of the band, in the background, almost like observing what's going on outside of the band, knowing that it is actually a part of the band. So Pete's character actually is mirrors his absence in the book, or in the interviews. We hear a little bit from him, one sentence at the beginning and one and maybe, I don't know, maybe at the end, I don't know, but we've heard just him talking at the beginning of the novel. And reading this now makes sense of his absence, or his overshadowing of or his character as a background spectator of the whole thing happening with the band. And then he carries on saying, I never wanted to be in a soft rock band. Come on, you know that. I got on the train, I rode it for a little while, but my stop's coming up. So my stop, well, here I would this is my intake here, that so it's Pete's stop, and it's almost the stop of the book as well. So when we see that for Pete, this is the end of the road, well, we are realizing at the same time that this is the end of the road of the band as well, and perhaps and of the story here. So this moment in the novel, to me, is a turning point here, in relation to the dynamic of the band, and also in relation to the expiring date of this band as well. Now back to Daisy's story, and and her relationship with her husband. At some point, she has an overdose. She overdosed, and she realizes that Nikki is not good for her. She had an overdose, and he didn't take her to the hospital, didn't call an emergency. He just left her in the shower. And she got scared as well, in the same time that she realizes that he's not good for her, because she realizes that he wasn't going to kill her. Well, I quote, "I knew right then and there that I needed to get away from this person, that I had to take care of myself, because if I didn't, he wasn't going to kill me, but he would let me die." So that's a big momentum for Daisy, and big realization, and the fact that she doesn't believe in this marriage. So she decides to ask for divorce. So she wants to divorce him. Then they receive a Grammy Award for the song "Turn It Off," and it's Daisy who will accept the awards, because Billy doesn't believe in the band winning for this song. And everyone is quite surprised about Daisy's speech and how put together she is when she delivers the thanks for voting for the song. Then we've got Karen and Graham's story, and in this chapter, Karen realizes, where she learns that she is pregnant. And this, to me, this sentence says it all. "I felt like my soul had left my body and I was just a shell." So that summarizes sort of the feeling about being pregnant for Karen, and the fact that she didn't see herself as a mother. And for Graham, well, she tells Graham, and for him, it's quite difficult to understand that she doesn't want a baby, and he is hoping that she will change her mind, but she's quite decided. Then there is this SNL show, Saturday Night Live show on TV, in which Billy and Daisy are just absorbed to each other. They have this magnificent performance, and everyone is in awe in front of them. And it's at this point that Daisy admitting that she is in love with him. And in a way, Billy also acknowledged that he has feelings for her, but he cannot be with her because he's chosen Camilla, and he made that promise, and it will always be Camilla, even though it's killing him inside that he wants to feel well, or he wants to be with Daisy, or he has a strong feeling for Daisy. And I like that. That's the reason that it's talking here. Passion is it's fire. Passion is it's fire, and fire is great, man. But we're made of water. Water is how we keep living. Water is what we need to survive. My family was my water. I picked water. I'll pick water every time. And I wanted Daisy to find her water because I couldn't be it. So I find that passage very powerful, and it makes sense to his reaction towards Daisy. But I believe that he should have been clear with Daisy about his feelings for her, but his commitment to Camilla, and allowing her to understand his position, and that probably would have helped Daisy move on better or quicker, seeing that there would not be any possibility to be with him. But so far, Billy has been blurring the lines, and one time being very distant to her, the other time very close, and saying very beautiful things to her, and things that probably wouldn't help Daisy. No, because he could feel definitely that Daisy was not with him. So that wasn't very smart way to behave with her like that, and I don't think that was an intentional from him, but having an honest conversation would have helped definitely with her. Eventually Daisy seeks help from Billy in wanting to get clean. She goes to his room, and she asks him for help and how to get into rehab. So they're about to get into this well, they're discussing rehab, and Billy is about to help her getting her to rehab, when they learn that Teddy has died. And that's a big shock for everyone, but mostly for Billy, who really struggled to handle this loss. And they eventually decide to go back on the road because, as things show must go on at some point. And actually Camilla encourages Billy to go back on the road, and tells him that she will actually be with him during the tour with the girls. And that in a way reassured him, because as you know, being on tour is always tricky for Billy to not fall back again into addiction and getting tempted. After that, we've got Karen getting an abortion. She take the decision to do that when they were in Chicago, and she's going to call Camilla to be with her while she's doing it, and then tell Graham about it afterwards, and that's going to be quite a tough time for Graham and the end of them as well. And this is how this chapter ends. So this is it, Chicago Stadium. Okay, let's go. July 12, 1979. Rod. I started like any other show, really. We had it down to a fine art. The lights went up, the band went out there, Graham played the opening of This Could Get Ugly, and the crowd started screaming. Billy, sorry. Camilla was on the side of the stage. She let Julius stay up late. The twins were back at the hotel with the babysitter. I remember looking down into the side, being behind the curtains, and seeing Camilla there, holding Julia on her hip. Camilla's hair was down to her waist practically by that point, and it was normally brown, but the summer had made it lighten up a bit. It looked more gold. The two of them, Camilla and Julia, had earplugs in their ears, these bright orange things poking out of either side of their heads. I smiled at them, and Camilla smiled back at me. Such a gorgeous smile. Her incisors were flat. Isn't that funny? Everyone's incisors are pointed, but hers were kind of flat, and it made her smile perfect. It was a straight line. Her smile always put me at ease. And that night in Chicago, when she smiled at me from the side of the stage, for that brief moment, I thought, everything is going to be okay. Notice here, her incisors were flat, but hers were kind of flat. It was a straight line. Okay, Daisy, it killed me to look at him, look at her. I can't think of any two things that make you quite as absorbed as addiction and heartbreak. I had a selfish heart. I didn't care about anyone or anything but my own pain, my own need, my own aching. I'd have made anyone hurt if it could have taken some of mine away. It's just how sick I was. Billy, we played everything the way we normally did. We did Young Stars and Chasing the Night and Turn It Off, and it did feel right. It felt like the wheels were coming off. Worried. Karen and Graham seemed like maybe they were mad at each other. Pete seemed checked out. Eddie had been complaining about Billy. But what else was new? Daisy. Someone in the front had a sign that said honeycomb. Billy. People requested honeycomb a lot on that tour, and I usually ignored it. I just didn't want to sing it. But I knew that Daisy liked that song. I knew that she had been proud of that song. And I don't know what came over me, but I said to the mic, do you guys want to hear honeycomb? Graham. I was sleepwalking through that show. I was there, but I wasn't there. Karen. I just wanted to get through it and go back to my hotel. I just wanted some quiet. I didn't want to be up on that stage, watching Graham, watch me, feeling his judgment. Warren. When Billy said honeycomb, the whole place sounded like thunder. Eddie. We're all just here to perform the way Billy wants us to, right? We don't need to be told we might play a song we haven't played in a year. Daisy. What do you say to a roaring crowd? Do you say no? Of course not. Billy. Daisy said, all right, let's do it. I got up to her mic, and the moment I did it, I regretted it. I could tell she didn't want me that close. I couldn't leave, but I couldn't leave. I had to make it look like everything was okay. Daisy. He smelled like pine and musk. His hair was about half an inch too long. You could see it hanging behind his ears. His eyes were clear and green as ever. People say it's hard to be away from people you love, but it was so hard to be right next to him. Billy. It's sometimes difficult to say what I knew and when I knew it. It's all a mess in my memory. It's hard to pass out, I guess. What happened when or why I did what I did. Hindsight bias. But I do remember distinctly that Daisy was wearing a white dress. She had her hair pulled back in the ponytail. She had big hoop earrings on, her bracelets, and I looked at her just because we started singing. And I really do think this. I thought she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. And that way, that you appreciate things more acutely. I mean, you appreciate people more acutely when they are fleeting, right? And I think I knew she was fleeting. I think I knew she was leaving. I don't know how I knew, but I feel like I knew. I probably didn't know. It just feels like it. So I guess what I'm saying, when we started singing Honeycomb, I either knew I was losing her or I didn't. And I either knew I'd loved her. And I either knew I'd loved her or I didn't. And I either appreciated her for all she was in that moment, or maybe I didn't. Hi, Kitty. Hello. We are page 309. So it's probably 305 for you or something. Okay, so Daisy. I started singing and looked at him, and he looked at him. He looked at me. And you know what? For 3 minutes, I think I forgot we were performing for 20,000 people. I forgot his family was standing there. I forgot we were singers in a band. I just existed for 3 minutes, singing to the man I loved. Billy, the right song at the right time with the right person. Daisy. And then right before the end of the song, I looked over to the side of the stage to see Camilla standing there. Billy. And God, I was so afraid at the ages. Daisy. And I knew he wasn't mine. He was hers. And then I just did it. I sang the song as Billy originally wrote it. No questions. The life we, so that's, I quote the lyrics of the song here. The life we want will wait for us. We will leave the sea, we will live to see the lights coming off the bay. And you will hold me, you will hold me, you will hold me until that day. It was the hardest line I've ever had to get through, Billy. When I heard her singing the lines as I originally wrote them, singing about this future that Camilla and I would have, there had been so much doubt in my heart, so much doubt in myself that I could keep going, that I could keep going down the good road I was on. And those lyrics, that small gesture for one moment, Daisy didn't remind me that I might fail. She sang the song like she knew I'd succeed. Daisy did that. Daisy. I didn't know how much I needed it until she gave it to me. And it should have just made me feel better. But it hurt too. Because if I was the man I wanted to be, If I could give Camilla the life I'd promised her, well, I mean, there was a loss in that too. And this loss here is Daisy, as we understand. He realizes that he would lose that part of him, that fire. Daisy, oh, this is so emotional. Okay, guys, let's continue. Daisy, I fell in love with the wrong guy who was exactly the right guy. And I made my decisions time and time again that made it worse and never made it better. And I had finally pushed myself right over the edge. Billy, when we got off the stage, I turned to Daisy and I didn't have any words. She smiled at me, but it was one of those smiles that isn't a smile at all. And then she walked away and my heart sank. Oh, this is so emotional. I don't know why I'm... Okay, it's so sad. Okay, let's continue. And my heart sank. Okay. It just became so perfectly clear to me that I had been holding on tightly to the possibility of Daisy. And suddenly I was having a very hard time with the idea of letting that go, of saying never. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have a bit of drink. Daisy, I saw Billy June as he was coming off the stage, and I didn't trust myself to say a single word to him. I couldn't be around him. So I waved goodbye and I left. Karen, after we got off stage, I accidentally bumped into Graham and I said sorry. And he said, "You've got about 1,000,000 things to be sorry for." Oh, Graham, I was angry. Karen, he seemed to think that his pain was the only pain that mattered. Graham, I started screaming at her. I know that I called her names. Warren, so swearing at her. Karen, he didn't have to go through what I had gone through. And I knew it was hurting. But what right did it have to yell at me? Warren, I got backstage and Graham and Karen were screaming at each other. Eddie, I grabbed Karen's hand before she could hit Graham. Whoa, getting heated here. Rod, I brought Karen back into one of the rooms backstage. Somebody grabbed Graham, kept them apart. Graham, I tried to find Billy to talk to him. I needed somebody to talk to. When I found him in the lobby at the hotel after the show, I said, "Man, I need your help." And he cut me off. He said he didn't have time. Billy, Camilla and Julia had gone upstairs and had hung back. I was standing in the hotel lobby. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. There was so much going on in my head. And then before I knew it, I was on my way to the hotel bar. I was walking one foot in front of the other to the bar to get a tequila. That's what I was doing. I was walking to the bar to get a drink when Graham came in to find me. Graham, he blew me off. I said, "It's important for once, please. I gotta talk to you." Billy, I couldn't do anything but focus on what I was doing. A voice was calling to me and telling me to get a tequila. And that's what I was going to do. I couldn't help anyone else. I couldn't do anything for anybody. Graham, I'm standing there in the lobby and I know I look like I'm struggling. I'm on the verge of tears. I don't cry. I don't think I've cried more than twice in my life. Once when my mom died in 94 and the other, well, the other time is probably the time when he learned she had an abortion. The point is, I needed my brother. I needed my brother. Billy, he grabbed my shirt and he said, With all the shit I've done for you our entire lives, you don't have 5 fucking minutes to talk to me. I took his hand and pulled it off to me. And I told him to go away. And he did. Graham, you shouldn't spend that much time with your brother. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't sleep with your bandmates, and you shouldn't work with your brother. And there was a lot of shit that if I had it to do over, I would do differently. Karen, I went back to the hotel and I slammed my door shut. And I sat on the bed and I cried. Warren. Eddie, Pete, Rod, and I smoked a spliff after the show. Everybody else was nowhere to be found. Karen. Then I went to Graham's room and I knocked on the door. Graham. I understood why we couldn't have a baby. I did, but I felt so alone in what I had lost. I was the only one who felt like we'd lost something. I was the only one grieving. And I was mad at her about that. Karen. He answered the door and I stood there and I thought, why did I come here? There was nothing I could say to him to fix anything. Graham. Why couldn't she see the future I saw? Karen. I said, you don't understand me. You expect me to be someone I'm not. And Graham said, you never loved me the way I loved you. And both of those things were true. Graham, what could we do? How do you come back from that? Karen, I leaned into him and I pushed my body against his. He wouldn't hug me at first. He wouldn't put his arms around me. But then he did. Graham, she felt warm in my arms, but for some reason, I remember her hands being cold. I don't know how long we stayed like that. Karen, sometimes I wonder if I was Graham, maybe I would have wanted a baby too. If I knew someone else would raise it, someone else would let go of their own dreams, someone else would sacrifice and keep everything together where I went and did what I wanted and came back on weekends, maybe then I might want a baby too. Although I don't know. I'm still not sure although I don't know, I'm still not sure that I would. I guess what I'm saying is that I wasn't mad at Graham for not understanding me. And ultimately, I don't think he was all that mad at me for what I wanted. Graham. We hurt each other very badly. And that is my biggest regret. That is my biggest regret, because I loved her with all of my fucking soul. To this day, there is a piece of me that still loves her. And there is a piece of me that will never forgive her. Karen, even now, talking about him feels like poking a bruise. Graham, I knew when I went to bed that night that I couldn't be in a band with her. Karen, there was no way we could be around each other day to day anymore. Maybe stronger people could have. We couldn't. Billy, I sat down at the bar and I ordered a tequila neat, and it arrived. And I sat there and I picked it up and swirled it around and I sniffed it. And then 2 women came up to me and asked me to sign autographs for them. Said they'd never seen anything like Daisy and me. I signed 2 cocktail napkins, and pretty soon after, they left. Daisy, it was the middle of the night when I got back to the hotel. I don't remember what I'd been doing. I just remember that I was avoiding Billy. I think I probably walked around the city or something. I was still plastered when I got back to the lobby, and I turned right to head for the bar. I remember thinking I didn't even want to be conscious, but I must not have realized where I was going or what I was doing because I ended up walking straight into the elevator. I thought, all right, guess I'll take my Reds and go to bed. But when I got to my room, I couldn't get my key in the door. I kept trying, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it to fit. I think I was making a lot of noise. And then I thought I heard a child's voice. Billy. I grabbed the glass, the tequila. I grabbed it again and I stared at it. And I thought about what it would taste like. Clean smoke. I was lost in it when the guy next to me went, "Hey, you're Billy June, aren't you?" And I put it down. Daisy. I was stuck out there in the hallway, unable to get into my room, and I slumped down on the ground and started crying. Billy. I said, "Yes, I am." And the man said, "My girl's got a real thing for you." I said, "Sorry about that." And he said, "What are you doing down here in the bar by yourself? You seem like a guy who could be with any woman in the world." And I said, "Sometimes you have to be alone." Daisy. I looked down the hall and I realized it was, well, out into the hallway comes Camilla and she's holding Julia. The author here. Okay, so the person interviewing. Wait a minute. Author's note. While I have made a concerted effort to remove myself from the narrative, I've included here a verbatim transcript of one conversation I had with Daisy Jones because I am, in fact, the only one that can corroborate this essential piece of Daisy's story. Okay. Daisy. So they are kind of off the record, let's say. Daisy, yeah? You were wearing a white dress? Yeah, Daisy. And the author, you were sitting in the hallway. You couldn't open your own door? Yeah. Author. And my mom, Daisy, yeah. Your mom opened the door for me? All right. So here we'll get a sense of who is the one interviewing the band. It's Julia. The author. I remember this. I was with her. I had woken up and I had a bad dream. Daisy. You were about 5 or so, I think. So you've got a good memory. Author. I completely forgot about it, but now that you were saying it, I do remember being there with you. But my mom never mentioned anything. I wonder why she didn't talk about this with me. Daisy. I always got the impression that if the story were to be told, Camilla would consider it mine to tell. Author. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then what happened? Daisy. Your mom, well, Camilla, or should I keep saying everyone's name? You said earlier that I had to always say her name. Author. Yeah, go ahead. Call me Julia, call my mom Camilla, just as we were doing, just as we've been doing. This marks the end of the transcript. That's it. So back now to the telling. Daisy. Camilla came into the hallway and she was holding Julia and she said, "Do you need help?" I didn't understand why she was being so nice. I said, "Yes." And she took my key and she let me into my room and she walked in with me. She put Julia down in the bed, on the bed. She told me to sit down and she brought me a glass of water and said, "You can go." And I said, "You can go, I'll be okay." And she said, "No, you won't." I remember feeling really relieved that she could see through me, that she wasn't going to leave. She sat down next to me and she didn't mind words. She knew exactly what was happening, exactly what she wanted to say. I was unnerved. I felt so out of control. And Camilla was so in control. She said, Daisy, he loves you. You know that he loves you. I know that he loves you. But he's not going to leave me. Whoa, this is so powerful here. Billy, I said to the guy, here we realize that it's Camilla who will have the guts to tell Daisy that, and not Billy himself. So I quite like the fact that Camilla is going to take that position. Yeah. Billy, and how lucid she is about the situation. And in a way protective towards Daisy, because she's basically telling her that she's not crazy, thinking that you're right. Yes, he is. I tell you. If it doesn't tell you, I will. Billy, I said to the guy, sometimes you need to clear your mind a bit. He said, what kind of problems can a guy like you have? He asked me how much money I had, and I just told him my net worth right there. And he said, you'll pardon me if I don't feel too bad for you. I nodded my head. I understood. I picked the drink back up and put it to my lips. Daisy. Camilla said, what I need you to know is that I'm not going to give up on him. I'm not going to let him leave me. I will see him through this, the way I've seen him through the rest. We are bigger than this. We are bigger than you. Julia got over the covers of one side of the bed, and I looked at her. Camilla said to me, I wish Billy didn't love anyone else. But do you know what I decided a long time ago? I decided I don't need perfect love. I don't need a perfect husband, and I don't need perfect kids and a perfect life and all that. I want mine. I want my love, my husband, my kids, my life. I'm not perfect. I'll never be perfect. I don't expect anything to be perfect, but things don't have to be perfect to be strong. So if you're waiting around, hoping that something's going to crack, I have to tell you that it's not going to be me. And I can't let it be Billy, which means it's going to be you. Whoa, that's tough talk. Billy. I took a taste of it, not even a sip, but a taste. It took everything I had not to gulp it down, not to throw it into the back of my throat. It tasted like comfort and freedom. That's how it gets you. What it feels like is the opposite of what it is. But my whole body went slack from the relief of it being on the tip of my tongue. Daisy. Camilla got up and poured me another glass of water, and she got me a tissue, which is when I realized I was sobbing. She said, Daisy, I don't know you very well, but I know you have a great heart and you're a good person. I know my daughter wants to grow up and be you one day, so I don't want you to get hurt. I want good things for you. I want you to be happy. I really mean that. You probably think I don't, but I do. She said she just wanted to make one thing really clear. I can't just sit here and watch you and Billy torture each other. I don't want that for the man I love. I don't want that for the father of my children. I don't want it for you. And I said, I don't want it for me either. Billy. The man next to me, the one with the girlfriend, he was watching me. He had a full beer in his glass. He was sipping it like you can sip something you're indifferent to. I glanced at him and then I did it. I drank it, maybe half of a finger or so, and then I held onto the glass like someone was going to try to steal it from me. He said, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's possible for a guy like you to be messed up about something. I told myself to put down the glass. Just put it down. Daisy. Camilla said, Daisy, you need to leave this band. Julia was fast asleep at this point. Camilla said, if I'm wrong and you're already in the process of moving on and you're willing to let him move on, then don't listen to me. You have no responsibility to me, but if I'm right, you'd be doing us all a favor if you left and got yourself clean and found a laugh away from him. You'd be doing it for yourself. And yes, you'd be doing him a service. But also, you'd be helping me take care of my children. Billy. I couldn't put it down. My hand held onto the glass, and I thought, I wish this man would take it out of my hands before I finish it. Just take it out of my hands and throw it across the room. Daisy. I was quiet for a while, trying to process what Camilla was saying. And then she said, and I think it's time for you to go. But whatever you decide to do, Daisy, just know I'm rooting for you. I want you to get clean. Take care of yourself. That's what I'm rooting for. I finally said, why do you care about what happens to me? And she said, I think almost everybody on this planet cares about you. I shook my head and said, they like me. They don't care about me. And she said, no, you got that wrong. She was quiet for a moment. And she said, do you want to know something I've never told Billy? I Hope Like You is my favorite song. Not my favorite song, my favorite sixth song, but my favorite song, period. It reminds me of the first boy I've ever loved. His name was Greg. Oh, Greg, remember Greg? And I knew from the moment I met him that he was never going to love me as much as I loved him. I wanted him anyway. Just like I knew he would, he broke my heart in a million pieces. And when I first heard the lyrics to that song, you put me right back there, right back in the middle of my first love, with all the heartbreak and the hope and the tenderness. You made it feel new and real all over again. You did that. You wrote a beautiful song about wanting something you know you'll never have and wanting to have it anyway. I care about you because when I see you, I see an incredible writer who suffers from the very thing that the man I love suffers from. The two of you think you're lost souls, but you are everybody. But you are what everybody is looking for. I let it all sink in. I really listened to her. And then I said, that song isn't, it's not about Billy. If that's what you were thinking, it's about wanting to have a family, kids, and knowing you'll be awful at it, feeling like you're too much of a fuck up to deserve anything like that, but wanting it anyway. And I look at you and everything that you are, and I know it's everything I can never be. Camila looked at me for a moment, and then she said something that changed my life. She said, don't count yourself out. Don't count yourself out this early, Daisy. All sorts of things you don't even know yet. That really stuck with me. That who I wasn't entirely already determined. That there was still hope for me. That a woman like Camilla Dunne thought I was. Camilla Dunne thought I was worth saving. Billy. The man looked at my hand, and it seemed like he was looking at my wedding ring, and he said, are you married? I nodded. He laughed and said his girlfriend would be crushed. And then he said, "You got kids?" That caught my attention, caught me off guard. I nodded again. I said, he said, "Got any pictures?" And I thought of the photos in my wallet of Julia and Susanna and Maria. And I put the glass down. It wasn't easy. I fought for every inch. As my hand moved closer to the bar, it felt like it was moving through wet cement. But I did it. I put the glass down. Daisy. Sometime in the early morning, Camilla picked Julia up out of my bed and she grabbed my hand. I grabbed her hand back. She said, "Good night, Daisy." And I said, "Good night." Julia was slumped into Camilla's chest, fast asleep, and she readjusted herself a little bit and pushed her head into Camilla's neck, like it was the fastest, softest place she'd ever been. Billy. I pulled out my wallet and showed the man the photos I had of my daughters. And as I did, he took my glass from in front of me and put it on the bar on the other side of him. He said, "Gorgeous girls." I said, "Thank you." And he said, makes you want to live to fight another day, doesn't it?" And I said, "Yes, it does." Oh, sorry. Gonna have a little sip of water. And I said, "Yes, it does." He looked at me and stared at the glass, and I felt strong enough to walk away from it. And I didn't know how much longer I'd feel that strong. So I put down the 20 and I said, "Thank you." And he said, "Don't mention it." And then he picked up my 20 and headed back to me and said, "Just let me buy it, all right? So I can know I did something for somebody once." I took the money back and he shook my hand and I left. Daisy. I opened the door for her and she slipped out into the bright hallway with Julia. She said, "No offense, but I hope I never see you again." Ooh. And to be honest, it stung. It stung. But I understood what she meant. When she got to her door, Camilla looked back at me, and it was the first time I realized she was nervous. Her fingers were shaking as she put her key in the door, and then she slipped into her room. And then she slipped into her room, and she was gone. Billy. I went back up to my hotel room, and I shut the door behind me and slumped against it. Camilla and the girls were asleep, and I just watched them. And then I broke down crying right there on the floor. And I thought to myself, that's it. I'm done. It's going to come down to rock and roll or my life. And I'm not choosing rock and roll. Daisy. I was on the next flight out. Rod. The next morning, I see Daisy's gone. She's left a note saying she's left the band and would never come back. Warren. I woke up in the morning and Daisy had left. Graham and Karen didn't want to be in the same room with each other. Then Billy comes onto the white bus and announces that he's taking a break from touring. So Rod has to cancel the rest of the tour. Rod. I can't fulfill a tour without Billy or Daisy. Warren. Eddie got mad. Flew off the handle. Eddie. There's only so long you can live your life where it's being dictated to you by somebody else. You understand? And I don't care how much money is in it for me. I'm not somebody's lackey. I'm not some indentured servant. I'm a person and I deserve a say in my own career. Warren. Pete said he was leaving regardless of what happened. Graham. it all just started crumbling down. Rod. Daisy was MIA. Billy wanted to shut the whole thing down himself. Pete was out. Eddie refused to work with Billy. Graham and Karen wouldn't speak to each other. I went to Graham and I said, "Took some sense into Billy." And Graham told me it wouldn't say shit to Billy. And I thought, if the bottom falls out here, what I'm going to do? I thought about signing other bands and doing this all over and taking another set of screwed up people and trying to make their career and trying to make their careers. And I don't know, Warren. I appeared to be the only person who didn't have his panties in a twist about something. But we had a good ride, and if it was over, I guess there wasn't much I could do about that. Was there? So be it. He's so good about things. Warren is so funny with those little expressions that he has and his way of going through life. Billy, I never knew why Dizzy left exactly, what it was about that night, that show that made her leave. But the way I saw it, I didn't know how to write a good album without Teddy. And I didn't know how to write a hit album without Daisy. And I couldn't do it with either of them. And I wasn't willing to let any of it cost me a fraction of what it had already cost me. I turned to everybody on the bus and I said, "It's over. The whole thing, it's over." And not one person in the band, not Graham, not Karen, not Eddie or Pete, not even Warren or Rod, tried to convince me otherwise. Karen, when Daisy left, it was like the Ferris wheel stopped turning and we all got off. Daisy, I left the band because Camilla Dunne asked me to. And it was the very best thing I've ever done. It is how I saved myself, because your mother saved me from myself. I may not have known your mother well, but I promise you, I loved her very much. And I was so very sorry to hear she passed away. Oh, okay. So we know that Camilla Dunne has died. When they're recording these interviews. Oh, this is very sad. Author's note. So Julia. My mother, Camilla Dunne, died before the completion of this book. Well, yeah. I spoke with her a number of times during the course of my research, but I could not hear her point of view of the events that took place in Chicago on July 12 or 13, due to the fact that I learned the full scope of them only after her passing. She died on December 1st, 2012, at the age of 63 from heart failure, a complication of lupus. It brings me great comfort to be able to report that she died surrounded by our family, my father, Billy Dunne, at her side. Right, then and now, 1979 to the present. Nikki Harris, so the music critic. Okay. Daisy Jones and the Six have never played together, never been seen together since their show at Chicago Stadium. Daisy, when I left Chicago, I made my way straight to Simone and I told her everything, and she got me into rehab. I've been sober since July 17, 1979. And when I left the facility, I changed my life. all of the things I've achieved since then have been because of that decision. And when I left the music business, when I published my books, when I started meditating, when I started traveling the world, when I adopted my sons and opened the Wildflower Initiative and changed my life for the better in ways that I could never even fathom in 1979, it was all possible because I got clean. Warren. I married Lisa Crown. We have 2 kids, Brandon and Rachel. Lisa made me sell the houseboat. Now I live in Tarzana, California, in a huge house surrounded by strip malls. My kids are in college and no one asks me to sign their tits anymore. I mean, occasionally Lisa does, just to be nice. And I take her up on it, because there are about 1 million different guys who would have loved to sign Liz's tits at some point in their lives. And I try to never lose sight of that. Pete Loving here, the bassist, the bassist, yeah, bassist, the 6. This is the only the second time that we have him talking. I don't have much to say about any of this. I don't have any ill will toward anyone or anything. I have great memories of everybody, but that part of my life is long gone. I own my own artificial turf installation company now. Ginny and I live in Arizona. My kids are grown. It's a good life. That's really all I have to contribute. I'm nearing 70, but I'm still looking forward. Okay? I'm not looking back. You're welcome to put this in your book, but that's going to have to be it for me. Okay, that all makes sense why we don't hear much about Pete. Rod, I bought a place in Denver for a little while. Chris lived with me. We had some good years together, and then he left. And I met Frank. My life is small and manageable. I sell real estate, and I have what I think of as the best of both worlds. An easy life, but with some wild stories about the good old days. Graham. When the band split, Karen and I, we were over. Our friendship was gone. We might run into each other once in a while, but that's about it. It's the ones who never loved you enough that come to you when you can't sleep. You always wonder what the future might have held, and you never know. Maybe you almost don't want to know. Don't tell your Aunt Janie that I'm talking like this. I don't want her to get the wrong idea. I love her. I love your cousins. And I'm damn glad your dad and I don't work together anymore, but we have fun playing around now and again. He still tries to tell me how to play my own guitar, but that's just Billy. He taught both my kids piano, built the tree house in the backyard. I guess I'm saying I feel lucky we had the band and we survived the band, him and me. Anyway, if you're doing one of these where are they now things, make sure you tell everybody that I have my own hot sauce. Dunne burned my tongue off. Eddie. I am a record producer now. Probably what I should have been all along. I have a recording studio over in Van Nuys. I do all right. Ended up on top. Simone. Disco died in 1979, and I tried to keep going after that, but I just could not catch on. I couldn't catch on the radio the way I had in the clubs. So I invested my money. I got married. I had Trina. I got divorced. And now Trina's 10 times more famous than I ever was, making money hand over fist, making music videos that are so crass, Daisy. And I would never have even thought about doing something as crazy as that. She sampled the love drug on her new one, ecstasy. Boy, nothing is innuendo anymore. They all just come out and say it. But she's the boss. I will give her that. She's killing the game. Damn right, my baby's killing the game. Karen. After I left the Six, I took gigs playing in one touring. I took gigs playing in one touring band or another for 20 years. Retired in the late 90s, I did what I wanted with my life, and I don't regret any of it in the slightest. My whole life, I have been a person who loves to sleep in a bed alone, and Graham is a guy who likes to wake up next to somebody. If he had had it his way, I would have conformed to what everybody else did, to what everybody else wanted for their lives. But it wasn't what I wanted. Maybe if I was in the younger generation, marriage would have been more attractive to me. I see the way a lot of younger marriages are these days, truly egalitarian, nobody serving anybody else. But that wasn't my mold. It wasn't the mold I saw. That wasn't a mold most of us even had back then. What I wanted didn't fit in with what I wanted didn't fit in with having a husband. I wanted to be a rock star. And then I wanted to live alone in a house in the mountains. And that's what I've done. But if you get to my age and you can't look back at your life and wonder about some of your choices, well, you have no imagination. Billy. I packed it all in, signed a publishing deal with Runner Records, and I've been writing songs for pop singers since 81. It's a good life. It's been quiet and stable, even though I spent the 80s and 90s in a noisy house with 3 screaming girls and a great woman. Somebody said the other day that I gave up my career for my family, and I suppose I did, though I think that makes it sound like it was more noble than it was. It was just a man hitting his limit. Not sure how much nobility there really is in that. It's more that I knew that if I was going to hit that bar Camilla had set for me, I had to walk away from that band. Do you understand why I loved your mother the way I did? She was an incredible woman. She was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Give me all the platinum albums you want, all the drugs and all the Cuervo and all the fun times and the successes and the fame and all of it. I wouldn't hand them all back to you. I would then hand them all back to you, just as the cost of my memories with her. She was an absolutely incredible woman, and I didn't deserve her. I'm not sure the world deserved her. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was very pushy, and around the mid-90s, she developed a really terrible taste in music, which for a musician is awful hard to look past. And she made the world's worst chili, and she thought it was great. And she make it all the time, and she would make it all the time. I'm not saying anything you don't know, but she had serious faults too. She was stubborn to the point where she stopped talking to your grandma for a few years. But that stubbornness also really paid off a lot of the time. She was stubborn about me. And I'm the man I am because of it. And I am the man I am because of it. When she was diagnosed with lupus, I think we were all set back. And I wouldn't wish that disease on anybody. But I was determined to take it as an opportunity to give back to your mother. I could take over when she was too tired. when her body ached too much. I could be home to raise your girls. I could be home to raise you girls, so it didn't fall on her to do everything. I could be her partner and be by her side through it all. We bought the house in North Carolina. I guess it's about 20 years ago now. After you and your sisters were all off at college, we scoured the coastline looking for exactly the house she had seen in her dreams. We didn't find it, but so we built it. There's no honeycomb there. It's not exactly the one in the song. It's just a two-story ranch with acres of land and a bay she liked to go crabbing in. But it was the home she'd always wanted. I feel so lucky to have been the man to do that for her. I know you know how hard it was to lose her. We're all still reeling from it. I admit I'm feeling lonelier than lonely these days, with you and your sisters spread out all over the country and your mom gone. It's been over 5 years now. She wasn't supposed to go that early. Taking a woman like that at 63 seemed cruel, even for a vengeful God. But it's the hand she was dealt. The hand we've all been dealt. So I'm playing it, you know? I didn't talk to you very much about all of this when you were growing up. Never wanted to bog you down with my own issues, my own stories. Your life isn't about me, honey. My life is about you. But I will say that I'm thankful to you for asking these questions and giving me something to do. I hope these sheds some light on all of I hope this sheds some light on all of it for you, sweetheart. I really do. About your mum, about me, about your mum and the band and me and the band. Sometimes I'm surprised people still care. I'm surprised they still play us on the radio. Sometimes I listen. The other day they were playing Turn It Off on the classic rock station. I sat in the car in the driveway and listened. We were pretty good. Daisy, we were great. We were really great. And that's it. There is one last thing before I go. November 5th, 2012. So here we go. So it's a bit like it's like an email, or sort of. Look how it's written. From Camilla Dunne to Julia Dunne Rodriguez, Susanna Dunne, and Maria Dunne. Date November 5th, 2012, 11:41 p.m. Subject, your dad. Hi, girls. I need your help. After I'm gone, give your dad some time, and then please tell him to call Daisy Jones. Her number is in my date book in the second drawer of my nightstand. Tell your father I said, at the very least, the two of them owe me a song. Love, Mom. Oh, this is so sad, guys. Sorry. So here is the whole story. And now we have here the songs, all of the songs that are in Aura's album. And what I've noticed is that you can find these a whole album. So when they produce, when they release the TV series, the show on Amazon, they also released an album, a full album of Aurora. And I was looking at the songs and also the lyrics. And what I've noticed that is there are three song titles that have been revised in the TV series adaptation. And so the album that is available, you can check out the album on Spotify as well, or on YouTube. So there are three songs that you can actually find in this album. You've got Please, Regret Me, and you've got Aura, and all the other songs, Chasing the Night, This Could Get Ugly, are not in the album. And but those songs, so for example, Please or Regret Me, that are in the album, they kept the title of the song, but the lyrics are different. So there are completely new songs in the album. So Chasing the Night. Trouble starts when I come around. Everything's painted red when I'm in town. Light me up and watch me burn it down. If you're anointed a devil, I'll take my crown. Foot on the gas, add fuel to the fire. I'm already high and going higher. Charging faster, ready to ignite. Headed for disaster, chasing the night. You turn wrong when you turn right. White light at first sight. Oh, you're chasing the night, but it's a nightmare chasing you. Life's coming to me in flashes, wearing my bruises like badges. Don't know when I learned to play with matches. Must want it all to end in ashes. Foot on the gas, add fuel to the fire. I'm already high and going higher. Charging faster, ready to ignite. Headed for disaster, chasing the night. You turn wrong when you turn right. White light at first sight. Oh, you're chasing the night, but it's a nightmare chasing you. Foot on the gas, add fuel to the fire. I'm already high and going higher. Foot on the gas, add fuel to the fire. Look me in the eye and I flick the lighter. Oh, you're chasing the night, but it's a nightmare, honey chasing you. Now the song This Could Get Ugly. The ugly you got in you, well, I got it too. You act like you ain't got a clue, but you do. Or we could be lovely if this could get ugly. Write a list of things you regret. I'll be on top smoking a cigarette. Oh, we could be lovely if this could get ugly. The things you run from, baby, I run to. And I know it scares you through and through. No one knows you like I do. Try to tell me that ain't true. Oh, we could be lovely. And if this could get ugly. Come on now, honey. Let yourself think about it. Can you really live without it? Oh, we could be lovely if this could get ugly. Impossible Woman. Let's read this one. Impossible woman, let her hold you, let her ease your soul. Sand through fingers, wild horse, but she's just a cold. So that's the song that Billy wrote himself. And it seems like it's about Daisy, but it never really acknowledged that. Sand through fingers, wild horse, but she's just a colt. Dancing barefooted in the snow, cold, can't touch her, high or low. She's blues dressed up like rock and roll, untouchable, she'll never fold. She'll have you running in the wrong direction, have you coming for the wrong obsessions. Oh, she's gunning for your redemption, have you headed back to confession. Sand through fingers, wild horse, but she's just a colt. Dancing barefoot in the snow, cold, can't touch her, high or low. She's blues, dressed up like rock and roll. Untouchable, she'll never fold. Walk away from the impossible, you'll never touch her, never ease your soul. You're one more impossible man, running from her, clutching what you stole. Turn It Off, the song that was awarded, the band won a Grammy for. Baby, I keep trying to turn away. I keep trying to see you a different way. Baby, I keep trying. Oh, I keep trying. I gotta give up and turn this around. There is no way up when you're this far down. And baby, I keep trying. Oh, I keep trying. I keep trying to turn this off. But baby, you keep turning me on. I keep trying to change how I feel. Keep trying to tell myself that this isn't real. Baby, I keep trying. Oh, I keep trying. Can't take off when there is no runway ahead, and I can't get caught up in this all over again. Baby, I keep trying. Oh, I keep trying. I keep trying to turn it off, but baby, you keep turning me on. I'm on my knees, my arms wide. I'm finding ways to stay alive. Lord knows I'm pleading to keep this heart still beating. I keep trying to turn it off, but baby, you keep turning me on. Baby, I'm dying, but baby, I'm trying. I can't keep selling what you're not buying, so I keep trying to turn it off. Oh, baby, and baby, you keep turning me on. I'm on my knees, my arms wide. I'm finding ways to stay alive. Lord knows I'm pleading to keep this heart still beating. I keep trying to turn it off, but baby, you keep turning me on. Now, please me, please release me, touch me and taste me, trust me and take me, say the things left unsaid. It's not all in my head. Tell me the truth. Tell me you think about me, or baby, you can't forget about me. Please me, please release me, relieve me and believe me. Maybe you can redeem me. Say the things left unsaid. It's not all in my head. Tell me the truth. Tell me you think about me, or baby, you can't forget about me. I know that you want me. Know that you want to hold me. Know that you want to show me. Know that you want to know me. Well, do something and do it quick. Not much more I can stand of this. Say the things left unsaid. Don't act like it's all in my head. Tell me the truth. Tell me if you think about me. Or baby, can you forget about me? Please, please don't forget about me. Please, please don't forget about me. Now, young, so there is a song called Please in the album that they've recorded, that the actors have recorded, but the lyrics are not the same at all. Young Stars. A curse across, costing me all costs, knotting me up in all of your knots, an ache, a prayer, worn from where, daring what you do not dare. I believe you can break me, but I'm saved for the one who saved me. We only look like young stars because you can't see old scars. Tender in the places you touch. I'd offer you everything, but I don't have much. Tell you the truth just to watch you blush. You can't handle the hit, so I hold the punch. I believe you can break me, but I'm saved for the one who saved me. We only look like young stars because you can't see old scars. You won't give me a reason to wait, and I'm starting to feel a little proud. I'm searching for somebody lost when you've already been found. You're waiting for the right mistake, but I'm not coming around. You're waiting for a quiet day, but the world is just too loud. I believe you can break me, but I'm saved for the one who saved me. We only look like young stars because you can't see old scars. Beautiful song. Now, Regret Me. Remember, this is the song Daisy wrote just after they had this moment together, and that she felt ashamed that, well, she was about to kiss him and he kind of pulled away a bit from her. When you look in the mirror, take stock of your soul. And when you hear my voice, remember, you ruined me whole. Don't you dare sleep easy and leave the sleepless nights to me. Let the world weigh you down. And baby, when you think of me, I hope it ruins rock and roll. Regret me regretfully. When you look at her, take stock of what you took from me. And when you see a ghost in the distance, know I'm hanging over everything. Don't you dare sleep easy and leave the sleepless nights to me. Let the world weigh you down. And baby, when you think of me, I hope it ruins rock and roll. Regret me regretfully. Regret me regretfully. Don't you dare rest easy and leave the rest of it to me. I want you to feel heavy. Regret me. Regret setting me free. Regret me. I won't go easily. Regret it. Regret saying no. Regret it. Regret letting me go. One day you'll regret it. I'll make sure of it before I go. And in a way here you see how desperate is when Billy realizes that Daisy is going, she's leaving. This song is kind of anticipating, is kind of a premonition of the future. Yeah. Midnights. Don't remember many midnights, forgotten some of my best insights, can't recall some of the highest heights, but I've memorized you. Don't remember many daybreaks, how many sunrise have come as I lay awake. Don't dwell on my worst mistakes, but I always think of you. You're the thing that's crystal clear, the only thing that I hold dear. I live and die by if you're near. All other memories disappear without you. Don't remember how I was then. Can't keep straight where I was when. What is my name? Where have I been? Where did I start? Where does it end? You're the thing that's crystal clear, the only thing that I hold dear. I live and die by if you're near. All other memories disappear without you. Don't remember who I used to be. Can't recall who has hurt me. Forget the pain so suddenly. Once I'm with you, you're the thing that's crystal clear. The only thing that I hold dear. I live and die by if you're near. All the memories disappear without you. So here you see that so clear. It's clearly a song that's about Camilla, and the only thing that it's clear for Billy is his love for Camilla and the fact that he will never leave her. Right. 2 more songs. So we've got A Hope Like You, this one. I'm easy talk and cheap goodbyes. A Hope Like You, sorry. I'm easy talk and cheap goodbyes, second rate in a first class disguise. My heart sleeps soundly, don't wake it. A hope like you could break it. I'm lost deep in crimes and vice, can't get the table to grab the dice. My heart is weak, I can't take it. A hope like you could break it. It doesn't matter how hard I try. Can't earn some things no matter why. My heart knows we'd never make it. A hope like you could break it. People say love changes you, as if change and love are easy to do. My heart is calling and I can't shake it. But a hope like you could break it. Some things end before they start. The moment they form, they fall apart. My heart wants to so badly just to say it, but a hope like you could break it. Told myself the story 1,000 times, can't seem to break the once free from my mind. So much of my world goes unnamed. Some people can't be tamed. But maybe I should stake my claim. Maybe I should claim my stake. I've heard some hopes are worth the break. Yeah, maybe I should stake my claim. Maybe I should claim my stake on the chance the hope is worth the break. Mm. Now the last song is Aurora, and here again, the title is also of a song is used in the album, but the lyrics are not the same. So here are the lyrics in the book. When the seas are breaking and the sails are shaking, when the captain's spraying, here comes Aurora, Aurora, Aurora. When the lightning is cracking and thunder is clapping, when the mothers are gasping, here comes Aurora, Aurora, Aurora. When the wind is racing and the storm is chasing, when even the preachers are pacing, here comes Aurora, Aurora, Aurora. When I was drowning, 3 ships and counting, the skies cleared and you appeared, and I said, here is my Aurora, Aurora, Aurora. All right. So I thought that Aura would have been a bit more profound. But I guess Midnight's, yeah, is beautiful as well. Yeah. And let's remind us, so these if I remember, Camila said that her favorite song was A Hope Like You is my favorite song. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll have more time to discuss more about the songs. And which song do you like best as well? Tell me in the comments, which song do you like? Which one is your favorite song in the book? Yeah. And yeah, it would be nice to have I quite like Regret Me. It's a very, very powerful song, but and very an impossible woman as well. I have quite a lot of songs that I like in here, and Midnight's, yeah. So, but I would say if I had to pick one, maybe Regret Me. I quite like Regret Me. Right. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this last live reading session of Daisy Jones and the Six, and this is it. We did it. We made it. Hi, Katie. I hope that you're proud of yourself for reading the book with us, with me as well, with me, and finishing this book. I'm very happy that for that we just went through this this first live reading of an original text. This was the first time that we were reading an entire book. I mean, the original version of a book, and I'm very proud of ourselves, guys, because we are reading it together. And yes, I am. Yeah. So I think it's great to celebrate as well those little wins. And it's been yeah, quite exciting process, being able to read, and quite a challenge as well to read so many pages live, to do 2.5 hours of live reading. Yeah, we made it. So it's so satisfying as well to have done it. I hope you enjoyed this live reading journey, and make sure you subscribe to the book club to become part, to join us and be part of the workshop that we are going to have, be part of the next workshop, live workshop that we're doing every week. So if you want to attend this live workshop this Saturday, you can still do it. You can still join through the link below this video, and practice your English and share your thoughts about the novel. Once you subscribe to the book club, then you will have access to all the previous recordings of all the other workshops for free, and you'll be able to attend this live workshop this Saturday as well. You remember as well that you can purchase the 3-part live workshop of White Teeth on my website store. So these are the recording sessions, and of those sessions that happened last month. I just want to tell you that we're going to have a little break for some time. Well, just a little break before we start a new live read along next month for August live read along. So I will see you on the 7th of August at 2 p.m. So that's going to be the next time, the next live. So you save the date, the 7th of August. I will, of course, share that on social, on Instagram, and I will remind you, of course, don't worry. So I will be back live on the 7th of August at 2 p.m. for a new podcast episode, introducing you to this young writer, British writer called Julia Armfield, and her first novel entitled Our Wives Under the Sea. It's been published in 2022, and this book is going to be our reading of August, right? So it's again going to be an original text, so C1 advanced level of English for this read. And this book, it's a first because this book is our first Leaders Book Club members pick. So this means that that if you're part of Leaders Book Club, you can choose the next book that we're going to read. And this book has been picked by Kitty, who suggested to read this book. So this is what we're going to do in August. And yes, I'm very excited to know more about Julia Armfield and share with you her work, and let you discover her work as a young writer. So yeah, it's quite exciting to read this first novel. She wrote short stories before, but this is her first novel, and yeah, I can't wait to let you discover this author, but also to read this novel with you guys. So yeah, that's it for me. I leave you for now for a little, well, about a week and a half or something. So for a little while. And I will be back soon. I will be back soon. I can't wait to discuss this book with you and start a new live read along series. Yes, me too. Kitty's saying she's super excited. I am too as well. So we're going to have a little bit of rest. So I will see you on Saturday, Katie. Kitty, sorry. No, now I'm calling you Katie. So I'll see you on Saturday, Kitty, and I hope you guys will join the show as well. We'll join the show. We'll join the book club, and that you'll be there for the live reading and the discussion of this book in August. Bye.